Hello, thank you for watching video resource, the field trip part 8. Jenny and Sharon ran from room to room, asking grown-ups if they had seen a teacher with a class of students. But none of them could help. The girls were scared and tired. Jenny thought about her poor friends. She almost wanted to cry. Then suddenly, Sharon yelled out. "There!" Sharon yelled, pointing to a tall woman in a blue uniform. "There is a museum worker." Jenny and Sharon quickly ran to the tall woman. "Excuse me, my name is Sharon," said Sharon, tapping on her shoulder. "Are you a museum worker?" Once again, the field trip part 8. Jenny and Sharon ran from room to room, asking grown-ups if they had seen a teacher with a class of students. But none of them could help. The two girls were scared and tired. Jenny thought about her poor friends. She almost wanted to cry. Then suddenly, Sharon yelled out. "There!" Sharon yelled, pointing to a tall woman in a blue uniform. "There is a museum worker." Jenny and Sharon quickly ran to the tall woman. "Excuse me, my name is Sharon," said Sharon, tapping on her shoulder. "Are you a museum worker?" Okay, so we have today we have the words students, poor, uniform, and excuse me. We will explain these words later soon. Also, we are going to focus on the phonics of OOR and OR in this video, okay? And how to read those combinations of letters. Okay, all right, let's explain what we have just read. Okay, the field trip part 8. Jenny and Sharon ran from room to room, asking grown-ups if they had seen a teacher with a class of students. Who are grown-ups? This is review. We know this already. A grown-up, whoops, what happened? A grown-up is a person, or in this case, it's grown-ups, so it's more than one person. So people older than 18 years old. Remember that? Okay, good. So those are grown-ups. Grown-ups are people older than 18 years old. Who are students? Well, how do you define a student? A student is, or students are children who are going to school. So when you go to school, you are a student. A student, okay? Student. but none of them could help. The two girls were scared. This is important, okay? We really didn't talk about this much, but there are many words that can tell someone that you are scared, okay? One word is the word afraid, okay? Afraid, okay? That's one word, afraid. So scared and afraid are the same words. Another word is the word frightened. Frightened, okay? Scared and frightened, all right? So when you say I am scared, you can also say I am afraid, I am frightened. Or here is an easier word that you can learn, okay? Which is very short and easy to remember, so it's good. And the word is fret, okay? Right? And you can say I fret, okay? Now, fret is a little bit different from scared. It also means scared, but it has the meaning of being a little bit worried, okay? So it's a little bit different, but still it means scared, okay? Fret, okay? So I am scared, okay? I am afraid, and I am frightened, or I fret, okay? So the girls were scared, the girls were afraid, the girls were frightened, and the girls fret, okay? All right. Jenny thought about her poor friends. What is poor? Okay. Poor means that you are very sad and scared. Okay, so if you're crying and you are sad and scared, then I would say, oh, poor you, right? Poor, okay? So poor means sad and scared. Poor, okay? Now, poor has another meaning, which means you don't have money. We don't want to talk about that now, okay? So poor has another meaning, which means that you don't have money, okay? So, right, if you don't have money, then you are poor, okay? But that is a meaning that we don't want to talk about right now, okay? We want to talk about another meaning, which is the other meaning, which is, you know, very sad and afraid, okay? Poor, because that's what Jenny meant when she said, when she thought about her poor friends. Not that her friends didn't have money, it's that, you know, she thought her friends were sad and scared, and she felt sorry for them, right? She felt sad for them, okay? How do I know that? Because it goes on to say she almost wanted to cry, okay? She almost wanted to cry. Then suddenly Sharon yelled out, okay? What is yell out? What is yell out? It means she shouted, she cried, she called out, okay? So yelled out means called out or cried, okay? Remember, when I say cried, I don't mean that she cried, boo-hoo-hoo, cried. It means that she called out, she yelled out, okay? All right. There, Sharon cried, pointing to a tall woman in a blue uniform. Okay, so here is pointing. Make it a little bit bigger. When you do that with your finger, that is called pointing. So point, okay? So she cried, and at the same time pointing to a tall woman in a blue uniform. Uniform, okay? And these people are wearing uniforms. You see that? They all look the same. It's blue and red and gold, right? Okay, uniform. Okay, so when you go to school, you also wear a uniform, right? Uniform. Let's look at this word. And then form. Uniform. Okay, uniform. Okay. All right. So she pointed at a tall woman in a blue uniform. There is a museum worker. Jenny and Sharon quickly ran to the tall woman. Excuse me. Okay, it's very good. It's a good idea to always say excuse me. What does excuse me mean? Excuse me means pardon me, I'm sorry, hi, hello. You're just getting somebody's attention. When you say excuse me, you mean hello, I'm here. I want to talk to you. Okay, but excuse me is a polite way of saying that, right? It's a way that shows that you are a good boy or girl. Okay, you can also say pardon me or I'm sorry and then ask a question perhaps. Okay, which is what Sharon wanted to do. Okay, so let's see. Excuse me, pardon me, I'm sorry. My name is Sharon, said Sharon, tapping on her shoulder, on the woman's shoulder. Are you a museum worker? And here is the question. Okay, this is the question that Sharon wanted to ask. Are you a museum worker? And she tapped the woman on the shoulder, not the baby. This is your shoulder, in case you didn't know that. This part here, this part of my body, this part of my body, this part of my body here, here is my shoulder from my neck to the end, the beginning of my arms here. Okay, that's my shoulder. Okay, so she tapped her on the shoulder. She went like this. Excuse me, like that. Okay, all right. Probably not a good idea if you are a grown-up, but if you are a little boy or girl, I think it's okay. It is not impolite, but if you are a grown-up, you shouldn't tap people on the shoulder, right? But if you are a little girl or a little boy, it's okay. All right. Okay, so let's review again. Grown up. Okay, a grown-up or grown-ups. People older than 18 years old. Again, grown-ups. People older than 18 years old. Students. Children who are going to school. Students. Children who are going to school. Scared. Afraid. Frightened. Fret. Okay. Okay. Or I guess you can say fretful. It's okay. All right. But let's just do fret. Poor. Sad. And scared. Okay. Okay. So poor means sad and scared. We don't want to talk about no money at this time. Okay. So forget about that. Yelled out. Called out. Cried. Okay. Good. Okay. Uniform. Uniform. These these clothes are called uniform. Okay, uniform. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, excuse me. So remember how to say X, right? Excuse me. Okay. It means pardon me and I'm sorry. Pardon me I'm sorry. Okay. And this part of the body is called the shoulder. Put your head on my shoulder. All right, here we go. So let's look at some of these questions. We're going to use these new words: student, poor, uniform, and excuse me. We're going to use these words to fill in these blanks, okay? And this one you need, whenever you see a line this long like this, it is not filling the blanks. It is answer the question, okay? So I should change the directions to fill in the blanks or answer in complete sentences. Now, when you answer questions, you must do it in complete sentences, okay? Never one word answers. Okay, good. The first one, you say blank when you want to ask someone a question. Okay, what do you say when you want to ask someone a question? Do you say student? Do you say poor? Do you say uniform? Or do you say excuse me? You say blank when you want to ask someone a question. Okay, good. Number two, I go to school. Who am I? I go to school. Who am I? Are you a student? Are you poor? Are you a uniform? Or are you, excuse me, right? Who am I? I go to school. Who am I? Okay, and you have to answer this question, right? Number three, police officers wear a blank. What do police officers wear? Do they wear a student? That would be very weird. Do they wear poor? Do they wear a uniform? Or do they wear, excuse me? Okay, police officers wear a what? Okay, all right. And number four, blank Mimi, okay, blank Mimi, she is sad and scared, okay? Blank Mimi, she is sad and scared. So Mimi is sad and scared. So student Mimi, poor Mimi, uniform Mimi, or excuse me Mimi. Okay, all right, good. All right, so which word do we put in the blank? All right, let's continue. We are going to talk about, in this video, the sound of or, okay? Now, in English, there are basically 5 ways to make the or sound. We are going to talk about 4 of them today, okay? So let me make it a little bit bigger. Oh, I messed up. I should have. Okay, good. All right, good. So there are basically 5 ways to spell out the or sound. There is or, O-A-R, or, okay? There is O-O-R, or. There is O-R, or, just O-R. And then there is O-R-E, or. There is another one that we will not talk about today, which is this one, okay? Which is O-U-R, or. All right, sometimes O-U-R can be read as or, but we're not going to talk about that one today because it is confusing, because O-U-R really sounds, it's most of the time is our. So we're gonna leave that until the future. We won't talk about that one today, okay? So we are going to talk about these other ones. And these other ones are very good because they almost exclusively sound like or. In other words, they are almost always just or. All right. So when you see OAR, just read or. OOR, or. OR, just read or. And ORE, just read or. And you know, most of the time, you will be right. Okay. Very good. Let's continue. So in this exercise, all we have to do is read. So which is what we're going to do right now. Okay. Oh, let me separate these guys a little bit. They're too close together. Okay, here we go. The boars roar and soar out the door. The boars roar and soar out the door. The poor Moor sat on the floor. The poor Moor sat on the floor. The carnivores snore before the store. The carnivores snore before the store. Or. Omnivores and herbivores hoard the port. Omnivores and herbivores hoard the port. Or. Lots of or sounds, right? Because that's what we're doing. The Lord sits forever in the fort. The Lord sits forever in the fort. All right. More Moors abort that sort of sport. Hey, maybe I should change it like this. Yes. How about I will just do this one. Change it. All right. Let's change the question. More Moors abhor that sort of sport. Mort can't afford more torts. Mort can't afford more torts. Or. And the last one, the funniest one. For or do we explore? For or do we explore? All right, very good. And we will review some of these things later, answer some questions perhaps. Okay. And we will, and I will see you soon. Okay. Please enjoy and watch this video and like it if you can. All right. Thank you for watching.